So if the White House, for example, and a bunch of like government buildings in DC were blown up, part of the continuity of government program is to use all this infrastructure that was set up and built in the Research Triangle Park as an alternative working space. And so I'm just like, in a way, I feel like I grew up like in the suburbs, like kind of a small town, existence, very much like, but then when I think back, it's more like Stranger Things, where you're living this suburban existence on the surface, and there's all this stuff going on around and below that you have no purview over. And seeing these tunnels, which date back who knows when, it just makes me wonder what else is
being contained, being hidden from plain view,
or even being created, because the whole deep underground military base, that's like supposedly net new construction. And even that aspect, the idea that there's actually a cross-country subterranean train system that's available only to the elites, whoever they are.
I mean, apparently there were all kinds of pneumatic lines and stuff in these urban areas. People could go in these basically vacuum tubes. And the last little vestige that we have of this technology is when you go to the bank and you put your card and your cash in there and you send it into the bank through the little tube. Well, there used to be pneumatic lines that, again, we're talking early 1900s, that were extremely efficient pre-subway style methods of travel. And we had to discontinue those lines to put in utilities and sewer lines and blah blah blah. But do you think that all those pneumatic lines are completely decommissioned, or do you think that they maintained a few of them that went to special access points? Probably the latter. I don't think they discontinued all of those pneumatic lines. In fact, you see in the movie Kingsman a little bit of a revelation of the method on this note, where they go down this elevator it's like a special access point in the middle of this random like field, and it goes down, and the scene lasts for like 5 minutes, and they're still going down in the elevator.
Right.
And they get to this point, and the elevator opens up, and it's basically this super nicely kept special access pneumatic line, and then they can go into this incredibly complex, highfalutin military underground facility through this pneumatic line. And it's like a super special access point, and we're supposed to just think, oh yeah, that's purely fiction, and that's just Hollywood being wild and being fanciful. But it's like, or is that just a relation of some of the method of secrecy and transport?
Like, we're
that
dealing
still
with
exists?
two ends here. Like, on the one hand, there seems to be, and I'm playing a video on mute of like some erosion happening, and there's all these like sarcophagi just exposed.
These massive tombs,
huge. Look at those stone.
Oh, are there going to be regular sized people in there?
It's a necropolis, but
because those tombs look a lot bigger than regular people. I don't know.
We have this dichotomy, I guess, of old infrastructure being found and uncovered that calls into question the mainstream historical narrative around architectural development. At the same time, we have what's presented to us as the pinnacle of today's architectural development, and it stands in contrast to a lot that is being uncovered. But then you have this question about, like, the technology is lost if we believe that what we're presented is the pinnacle. But I don't think it's lost. It's just like everything else, it's hidden.
Yeah.
The technology.
It's
So
been
like,
buried.
granted, we don't have it. The people don't have it. Like, clearly, we can see that in modern day construction methods and initiatives. And of course, lots of excuses and dismissals will take place saying, well, you know, we don't, these are gratuitous constructions that were, you know, built during times of dictatorship and, you know, where obscene efforts were made to build, you know, nonsensical constructions, and that's all it is.
We didn't have screens and porn back then, guys.
Yeah, and so
we just
like,
had a lot of human power and slave labor. We can just, you know, do all kinds of magical things without the screen.
that's why your public school looks like a prison, is because it's just the most economical way to house all those people. You know, it doesn't need to be a beautiful construction
yeah,
like
it's
we used
just
to make in antiquity.
you know, the most precious thing known to man is there. Kids, the future. You know, let's make it look like a prison.
But like,
this is the best we can.
But
do.
like you were talking about with like the Hollywood revelation of the method, like clearly more advanced technology and construction methods are at our disposal. It's just on who do we choose to spend that effort on. And it's clearly not for the general public.
No.
Just go to, like I said, any public school. You know, children are they're the future, right? And this is how we reward them, with an environment that's like not too far off of a prison.
No. It's really not.
So, but like the deep underground military base, I've heard other, you know, quote unquote whistleblowers talk about the advanced technology that they do have to excavate and build underground. You know, like our drilling capacity is not what they're telling us.
Oh no.
You know, so like we're supposed to believe the deepest we've ever drilled is 8 miles in Russia, right?
For
like,
oil.
which is, I mean, a proof point about the lack of information we have around the center of the earth.
Oh, well,
But that's
certainly.
only if we believe that that is true.
Well, yeah, we're supposed to believe that it's just a giant, you know, basically rock sheath surrounding softer and softer sheaths until we get to a big magma ball through which all of the tendrils of volcanoes and stuff are connected. Due to seismic activity, somehow that magma gets shaken up.
Yeah.
And, you know, it gets spurted out here and there and the other place. But we're basically on the outer edge of a giant fire magma ball. I mean, it's total poppycock. There's no evidence for that, but it's a model that's forced down our throat.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 miles, that's for industrial oil exploration. Even if it was 5 times that, which I'm willing to admit that based on infrastructure possibilities, it could be that deep. But you're talking about a much more porous surface, much more porous aspect
Right.
to navigate through. So it's not just this, you know, crust that we're supposed to accept in the current model. I mean, there's a lot more to it, and there's a lot more mystery than meets the eye, and runs counter to the textbook hegemonic purview that we're given.
Yeah.
Oh, we figured it all out, guys. We know exactly what's going on 1,700 feet beneath 1,700 miles beneath our feet. It's a giant lava ball.
It's like maybe we can think outside of balls for a second. That would be nice, because it's clearly much more complex than that. And just, yeah, I mean, the internet, just like what we were talking about earlier, these cables literally run from sea level shore to sea level shore across the Atlantic, across the Pacific, across the Indian Ocean. It's forensic level non-convexity, because that's the way water behaves. Gravity all of this gobbledygook that's just been, again, forced down our throats. We're just kind of supposed to believe that, oh, we can notice a certain rate of acceleration on the surface, therefore it must be the result of this crazy attractive universal force that's being emitted or being channeled through the center of a molten magma ball, because that's the only purview that we have.